UFC on Fox 28 goes down this Saturday in the Amway Center in Orlando, Florida, in the United States of the Americas. And it sees Emmett versus Stevens as your main event of the evening. But Rob, let's start it at the opening fight of the main card. It's Mike Perry taking on Max Griffin. Straight away, what do you think?
Straight away, just off the bat, I think this match is a match made for entertainment. I think they looked at these two guys and they said, okay, let's match Mike Perry up with somebody, and let's match him up with somebody who will have an exciting fight with. Now, Mike Perry will have an exciting fight with a broom, but I think that this fight is just matched for excitement. It's the opener of a Fox card. So I think the idea of this is get two guys in the cage there that are gonna beat the shit out of each other pretty much, and but in a good way. I think it's just an excellent matchup, but I also think that it might be a matchup to give Mike Perry a win. And that's not taking anything away from Max Griffin. I just don't think he's at the level that Mike Perry's been at. Mike Perry's fought some really good guys. His last fight, obviously, with Ponzinibbio, the result didn't go his way, but it wasn't the worst performance in the world. He's just not technically as good as Ponzinibbio, but just this matchup is just one of those fights where you look and this could be a great scrap.
Especially UFC on Fox, they try their hardest, I think, to put on fights that are just going to be almost like Rock'em Sock'em Robot style fights.
Yeah,
it's a throwback to the Bonner Griffin days. I think here Max Griffin, they found a willing dance partner with Mike Perry.
Yeah,
I don't see Max Griffin going for the double.
No, he's a kickboxer.
Or changing to a single and running the pipe. I don't see that. I can see them standing and two of them almost having an unwritten rule of, let's just throw leather at each other's face.
Because, not just because I think that's the smartest thing, but I think that's genuinely how Max Griffin would probably believe he can win, because he's a kickboxer. He's a black belt in kickboxing.
This will be my point. Griffin here, stand-up fight. If you get embroiled in a brawl with Mike Perry, this is where Mike Perry wins his fight. But if you look at the Ponzinibbio fight, he fought him technically. Yeah. He used his... Now, he got caught as well. Perry landed big shots as well. But Perry... It's something Brendan Dorman spoke on after. He was like... Brendan, I think, sort of said he was disappointed with Perry because he's got all this wildness and madness and power. And if he just tamed it in some ways with technique, he would set up the finishes rather than going... I think he felt he was guilty of going headhunting, trying to get the finish. While
I think he has that technique.
He does, but if he has this... If he used his setup and used some technique, the finishing shot will come. Yeah. But while Perry, he's fallen in love, obviously, with his power. He wins a lot of his fights through that. And sometimes when that happens, it can be a bad thing because you just think you have to land that one shot rather than setting that one shot up. So it'll be interesting to see, will Griffin go more technique here and land combinations, get out of the way, tire Perry out, frustrate him by making a miss and try and counter on any telegraph shots that Perry will be showing. But I do expect at the same time Mike Perry to show improvements here, and hopefully it's more technical improvements. Like, let's be honest, who doesn't like watching Mike Perry fight? If you don't like watching Mike Perry fight, you don't like watching fighting, because he comes out and he'll go out on a shield or he'll put you out on your shield, and that's what Mike Perry is. He's a draw for that reason. And again, I'd like him to win in a selfish way because I'd like to see down the line Mike Perry against Darren Till.
Yeah, I'd love to see that fight. I don't know. I just think Max Griffin, although I think he can do that game where he'll go out there and be technical and try just kickbox with fundamentals, a lot of time he does get dragged into that war. So I just think that's going to happen. I think Mike Perry's great at doing that. I think the really, really talented, good, high-level top 5 fighters will be able to knock into that war, but I don't think Max Griffin's just there just yet. Maybe he can get there. I just think that Mike Perry's going to drag it into that kind of fight, and I just think punch for punch durability, I think Mike Perry is just slightly a little bit better there. So I'm going to go Mike Perry second round finish, TKO.
I agree. Mike Perry, I agree with. I think Perry will get it done in the first round though. Nice. I just think he has that wildness. He has that. It's weird because at the same time I'm saying tame him, but would you tame a wild stallion? Would you? No. So you probably would if you keep horses and you're like, I'd like to keep that horse. But Perry just has that madness, and I think that's why he's where he is, but he needs to be in control of it a little bit more. But that's what I'm saying. If you do control it, does he have to finish? But I'm still going with Perry, and I'm going with first round. He's just got that violence in him, that finish. So I'm going Perry, first round TKO/KO. Ovince Saint Preux takes on Ilir Latifi in the light heavyweight division. This is one of the two lads.
Two lads.
They're sort of
in a similar spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're both in that fluctuating. Like, you look at Ovince Saint Preux, the close fight in some ways, it gets put down to John Jones being rusty. But, you know, he had the John Jones fight. He was beaten by Jimmy Manoa. Volkan Ozdemir beat him. And then he's gone on a bit of a run again.
Yeah.
Getting all in the win column.
Yushin Okami's a weird one, isn't it?
Yeah, very weird fight.
Weird fight.
But all victories by either submission or knockout. So Ovince Saint Preux was on a tear. But then Latifi looks like... Latifi does really well and then drops a fight. Now, his last defeat was to Ryan Bader. That was back in September 2016. Yeah. So beat Tyson Pedro then. But he's in that weird position, like the Jean Valente, Sean O'Connell. This is no disrespect to these guys. Handstringer.
Yeah.
These are the guys that Ilir has victories over and stuff like that. And I'm a big Latifi fan. I've spoken about this before because I've met him.
Yeah. And
he was really nice. So that means we're mates now. And I have to cheer for him when I see him fight. But Latifi has that... he's got that one-punch knockout power as well.
Yeah, both of them do.
Yeah, and this is a weird fight because... It sounds stupid. Both of them can win this. And in similar fashions.
Yeah. It's a well-matched fight. It seems like a fight that should have probably happened before.
It's sort of weird that it hasn't.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that it hasn't happened before. But I know what you mean. It's a very hard fight to pick. I think both guys, when they show up, I wouldn't say world beaters, but they're very, very good. When they don't show up, sometimes they're lacking. Latifi, he's good at being that kind of battering ram type fighter. Yeah. You know, he's good at being the hammer. And when he can be the hammer, I think he's very, very good. But OSP, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to pull that off against OSP. OSP, he uses length pretty well. I wouldn't say as good as everyone in the division, but he can use it pretty well.
But he has a serious reach advantage here as well. 7 inches, like that's...
It is serious. And I wonder if Latifi would be able to get his wrestling game going, because although he's not from the States, he still has a fairly good strong wrestling game, and he can grind them out. Would he be able to grind it out against OSP? Will OSP look for another Von Flue?
Mr. Von Flue.
Who knows? It's a weird fight to pick. I really don't know. I need to think about this a little bit more. Let's continue to chat about it because I need to think about it.
Where my thought process in this one is, I think that Ovince has fought the better caliber fighters.
I do think so.
So, like, you look at that. I know, like, you go the distance.
I don't know, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. He's gone the distance with John Jones. Like, that's... Yes, it wasn't the greatest John Jones in the world.
He also had a split decision loss to Volkan Ozdemir. Volkan didn't look great in that fight,
but he's had I'm just flicking through his record here, and he's fought he's beaten Mauricio Shogun Hua, Patrick Cummins, then he dropped onto Glover Teixeira, beaten Javier Cavalcante, then John Jones, Jimmy Manoa, and Ozdemir. Dropped 3 fights in a row. Looked like he was in trouble. And then has bounced back with 3 wins and looks good for it. Looked very impressive against Corey Anderson, getting the finish. And I think he'll utilise his reach here as well. And if he can stop, because Ilir, when he lands, he tends to sort of come in almost with a head bowed. And
battering ram style.
Yeah. And comes over. But, if Latifi can get the takedown here as well, and yes, it's not going to be the fight we all want to see if he's grinding on him and keeping it on the ground. But if he tries to tire the big man out in Ovince Saint Preux with multiple takedowns, that could be his path to victory here, using his power. He's heavy ground and pound as well. Latifi. It's this for me is a complete coin flip. Today I'm saying Ovince Saint Preux. Ask me tomorrow over lunch, I'll probably say Latifi. So I'm just gonna. For me, I think Ovince Saint Preux reach is gonna be vital in this. He's fought the higher caliber guys, so I just think for that reason, and Just he has Latifi can finish it. Ovince Saint Preux can finish it on the feet, but he can pull it crazy submission out of nowhere.
Where I was going with it was I think that OSP is a little bit more dynamic in his style. I think if it's not going well for him in certain situations, I think he might be able to pull out the bag. With Latifi, I do think, not that he's a front runner, but he's the type of fighter where if he wants to win, he has to have his game going 100%. He needs to be the grinder. He needs to be the hammer. And I don't think if he fails to do that, if he fails to pull the fight into the direction that he needs it, I'm not sure he can be that dynamic to turn it back around. So I'm going to go with OSP to win. I do think it'll be a close first round. I think Latifi will be able to impose his will on him. I think he's going to be able to get a takedown or two, but I just think that over the course of the 3 rounds, I think OSP is going to be able to keep on the feet, start to use his range. I'm not sure if he's going to get a finish, but I think he's going to win at least 2 of the rounds by just being able to keep Latifi at range, land some good shots, Latifi falling short and takedowns, and just not be able to impose his will on him. I'm going to go with OSP by, I'm going to say a decision.
I agree with decision.
Yeah.
I have to say I do. I think he'll just keep him at range, pick pocket.
It's a really interesting matchup.
It is.
It's very,
it's a coin flip fight.
It's an intriguing one.
Both have great ways to paths to victory here.
Yeah, well matched fight. I think it's a well matched card, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think it's a well matched card.
Your co-main event sees Jéssica Andrade taking on Tecia Torres. Torres, of course, only has 1 defeat on a record.
Yeah.
But I think this, you could argue, is the only loss she has is to Rose Namajunas. Yeah. When you think about it, you're looking through. This is a tough fight as well to call.
Yeah, it's a tough fight to call. I am more confident in this pick just because I think that both fighters fight in a similar way. They both like to dominate the center. They like to be aggressive, come forward, and because both girls will have a very small reach for the division, I don't think they really like to fight on the back foot. And I just think Jéssica Andrade is a little bit better at doing that. She's just a nightmare to deal with at times. I call her the female John Lineker. She fights very like John Lineker. Comes forward. I think that she lands some better combinations than John Lineker at times, but I think she's that kind of fighter. Tecia Torres, she had a really good performance in her last one against Michelle Waterson. But then if you go back to the Gadella fight with Andrade, that was an absolutely wonderful performance. I think in the division, you're looking at Andrade, Gadella, Jacek and Rose, really the top 4, and then you obviously have Tecia Torres kind of in the 5 or 6 position. But I think how dominant she was against Gadella and how dominant the Gadella has been against everybody else aside from Jacek, man, I think that was just a crazy good performance. So I have to side with Andrade. I just think she's a nightmare for most girls in that division. I really do.
There's not a lot I can disagree with there. The fight that it's the what she done to Claudia, Claudia.
I'm pretty sure Gadella, Claudia Gadella, after that fight took some time off. I think she said she wants to take some time off because of she took a hiding. Like it wasn't like it wasn't like the worst beating I've ever seen, but it was just domination.
Yeah,
it was
she got battered.
Yeah, she got battered. She got battered. Yeah. And at her own game in certain situations as well.
So Andrade there, like when you look at it, when she wins, I always think she wins dominantly as well.
Yeah.
So for me, it's you sort of broke it down. I'll only be repeating what you said. But yeah, I just see Jéssica Andrade just doing in a way what she done to Claudia Gadella. No disrespect to Tecia Torres, and absolutely only 1 defeat on her record. But I just, as you said, at this time, I just think Andrade is probably outside of the champion is the most dangerous.
I just think she's so aggressive. Her output is crazy good. She just throws so many punches. She comes forward and she doesn't seem to get tired either. She really doesn't. Haven't really seen her getting tired, and I just don't see Tecia Torres being able to withstand that for the 3 rounds. I'm gonna say there's not that many finishes in that division, but Andrade probably has the most finishes in the division without checking. But I'm gonna say a decision. I'm gonna say a dominant decision. Yeah,
I'd agree again. I'm Mr. Agreeing.
Yeah.
Unanimous decision, and I'll go 30-26 on all judges' scorecards.
Wow. Very good.
30-26.
10-8 in there.
Nice 10-8 in there somewhere. Your main event of the evening. We spoke to one half of the main event earlier today. Josh Emmett takes on Jeremy Stephens in the main event in the featherweight division. Always weird when you have a guest on who's involved in the fight.
Yeah. It's weird. Yeah.
Who are you picking? Now, mind you have a record of this. Neil Seary was on with us when he was fighting.
I can't just pick because they're on the show, and
he's
even
Irish.
if I like them, I just can't just pick them. First on the fight, I think this is a great fight. On paper, a lot of people won't know who Josh Emmett is, so they're like, "Who's this guy that's fighting Jeremy Stephens?" That's funny because who the fuck is that guy with Jeremy Stephens? But I think
Never heard that before. Where'd you hear that?
I think this is an excellent matchup. They do have similar styles in parts. Jeremy Stephens, I think a lot of people get Jeremy Stephens, or they assess Jeremy Stephens in the wrong way. He does get into brawls, but he doesn't get hit that much, which is weird. He hasn't really taken a whole lot of damage. And I remember seeing an interview with him after a fight, and he was asked, "Are you going to change the way you fight?" Because they were talking about CTE and stuff, and he was like, "Man, I don't get hit that much." He's usually the guy who hits a lot. He has a really good defense.
You're not going to use the hammer analogy again,
No.
are you? No, right. That's you're going there. You know? He's the hammer, he's never the nail.
No, I'm not going to go there. But he's like the hammer.
Yeah. It's great, continue, Rob,
No, he's the type of guy who gets into brawls, but he's really defensively sound. And then Josh Emmett is similar in a way, and they both have wrestling backgrounds.
Yeah.
I like the way Josh Emmett fights, the way he gets in and out. He's deceivingly quick, I think. I think he's going to have the speed advantage in this. But just on paper, but without having a pick and without thinking who's going to win, I think it's a great fight.
With this, when you look at it, you nailed it as well. What's the story? You swear we work for I don't know, Woodies or something here with all this. I saw it happen. No, but terrible.
Yeah.
Emmett, the big win over Ricardo Lamas.
Yeah.
This is what, MMA fans were guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. We jump on something when it happens.
Yeah.
And
we turned a screw.
Yeah. Brilliant. But even Josh was saying earlier is like, this is Jeremy Stephens' like 28th fight or something in the UFC.
Yeah.
So you're talking about a guy who has been fighting in the biggest promotion in the world for the majority of his career, and he's still in there and still talked about as a contender. So Josh Emmett all of a sudden is this young pup who's had this big knockout over Ricardo Lamas that all of a sudden all the hype and stuff. So it's something that we spoke about as well, where you were saying, fighting lower ranked guys, as Stephens is a lower ranked fighter than Emmett. But,
it's crazy to think.
Yeah, but Emmett was like, he's got a bigger name.
Yeah.
So, and it is true. Like, I'd always, when you think of Jeremy Stephens, you think, fucking crazy, hard on the sleeve, crazy trades and combinations thrown, sticks in the pocket. But then when you think about it, you go, he doesn't really get licked that much. You know what I mean? There has never been.
I've never seen Jeremy Stephens really hurt. I can't remember him being really, really hurt.
Like, I remember the Dennis Bermudez fight was an incredible fight. It was a good back and forth.
Yeah.
But has he ever wobbled in it? No, not really. And
even Max Holloway, he wasn't hurt that much in the Max Holloway fight.
So it's a weird one here, and like as well, speed kills, and speed could be the significant factor in this fight here. But again, I think that's unfair on Jeremy Stephens because Jeremy Stephens always looks like he's landing that big crazy shot. I think Josh Emmett's key to victory here is speed, but making Stephens work at a high tempo. This is going to be a 5-round fight as well. So if Josh Emmett can keep a high tempo up in the fight and avoid a big counter from Stephens, I can see him coming more into the fight in the latter rounds.
Yeah.
Tiring out Stephens in that sense.
Yeah.
For as much as we're saying he doesn't get hit, there's miles on the clock for Jeremy Stephens. Certainly not saying he's near the end of the road or anything like that. But I just think that if he can keep him at a high pace and training out at alpha male, he's fighting with, he trains regularly with some of the most fittest and just high-paced fighters you can think of. They're a small gym, as in a small size gym. So he's got like speed and abundance in training partners. He was saying that, Chad Mendez is a regular training partner. Garbrandt's a regular training partner. So he's got the speed there. it's a matter of can he land the clean shots to drain the tank of Stevens, but also take over the fight. The wrestling, one thing is weird when you always, when you talk about a striker against striker, they'll cancel one another out.
Yeah.
I'd like to see one of these try and get the wrestling going.
They both have wrestling.
Yeah.
Like
but
Josh Emmett comes from a wrestling background.
Yeah. No, but this is my point, is that when you say two of them are grapplers, you go, oh, well, cancel each other out.
Yeah.
No, let's test one another's wrestling.
Exactly.
Let's see who's...
Let's mix it up.
Let's see who's the bigger dog.
Yeah. But I also think that's one of the main keys for Emmett, is to get his wrestling going, get his grappling going. Don't give Jeremy Stevens time to just not rest in the pocket, but get settled in the pocket and get the leg kicks going and get his timing, because Jeremy Stevens will get his timing eventually. It might happen immediately, because Josh Emmett, the way he fights normally is he's in and out, he's really quick, but eventually he'll get his timing. Just like if you look at the Cowboy fight against Yancey.
On Sunday night, no.
Yeah, on Sunday night. Same thing happened. Yancey is very awkward and it's hard to get his timing, but once he did, he started landing. And the same thing will happen if Emmett doesn't mix it up, uses wrestling, uses grappling. Not even that, just change levels and clinch. But then Jeremy Stevens again.
But he's got that great, like, as in, it's quite funny because you can argue, you only have to look at Emmett's last outing, like that knockout over Ricardo Lamas was like, oh my God, like it was.
Man. Nobody's done that to.
It was the touch
Lamas.
of death knockout. Yeah. And at featherweight as well, that these two men are probably
short notice too.
Yeah, but these two men as well have insane knockout power for featherweights. I know, like, there is knockout finishes, but I mean, like, one shot, not an accumulation of damage, just one shot done. You're out of here. Where's my paycheck?
Both guys have that.
So that's the great equalizer, is that both fighters are one mistake or one mistimed or overreach shot away from be it Herb Dean or whoever standing over them, waking them up. So that's what's really intriguing about this fight as well. So it's got great facets of interest from the grappling end of it, the tempo end of it, to if someone can land that knockout finish. Also,
just the story of it. If Josh Emmett can win this, and that puts him right up there for a title, that's a crazy jump from him fighting. His first 4 UFC fights were in the undercard. Got a short notice fight against Ricardo Lamas. Knocked Ricardo Lamas out like nobody's finished Ricardo Lamas. There's been some TKOs there's been some submissions, but he was just completely knocked out cold. Yeah. If he can win this and just catapult himself into the title contention, or if Jeremy Stevens, who's been... But you look at Cody Garrett on the edge. You look as well. There's a ready-made fight after this, because you've got Edgar, you've got Ortega fighting another. Yeah. I think if he wins this, he's still another fight away. Yeah. Cub Swanson tweeting shit, talking whatever. Yeah. Cub Swanson, like, I know. Coming off a loss. But look, it's a good fight. It's a Cub is still a big name as well. Yeah. So now we're jumping ahead there, but let's not jump that far ahead. Yeah. Let's stay on Saturday night. I'll let you make your pick first. Who gets his hand raised? Yeah. You fucking brought Well, I've done I was building it up. I was building it up. I've done 3. But I built it up I'm undecided, because I think this... I like this card. It's a very close match card. Very close match and card. This is a very close match fight. As the odds would tell you. What's the odds? Slightly Jeremy Stevenson is the favourite here. Makes sense. Jeremy Stevens is 8-13. And Emmett is 5-4. Makes sense. Yeah. Close. See, you have a catalogue looking back at Jeremy Stevens. Yeah. Of what he can do. The fights good and bad. In. Yeah. So you can see both. I think he's really improved a lot lately as well. The Daiho Cho victory was incredible. Great victory. And then he's in there with Gilbert Melendez. It just doesn't go away, you know what I mean? And he turned his leg into a hamburger. Yeah. And Josh Emmett's only losses to Desmond Green. And I thought maybe Josh Emmett edged that one. It was a close split decision. So he could easily be undefeated going into this one. This is a great matchup. Yeah. Great matchup. And it's also one of them where, for me, I'll try to give my pick, because you're way on the side. I'm going to go with Jeremy Stevens. I'm picking Jeremy Stevens, but looking back at Jeremy Stevens' record, going into the Renato Moicano fight, the Canero fight, I thought Jeremy Stevens, that was his fight to win, and he lost it. And there's been a few fights like that where I thought this is a fight for Jeremy Stevens to win. Not that I think this is his fight to win or his fight to lose. because I think this is a very well-matched fight. I think Josh Emmett can win it. But there's been those fights where a guy who's kind of, we don't know a whole lot about, we've seen them, we've seen what he can do, but we haven't seen everything, like Josh Emmett, and he's come in there and he's surprised us. But I just think based on resume, I think you have to side slightly to Jeremy Stephens. But being this close and getting, 5-4 on Josh Emmett, I think I might put a little bit of money on Josh Emmett, but I just straight pick, I'm going to slightly side with Jeremy Stephens. By decision. I think it's going to be a close decision.
I'm really, really undecided.
Yeah.
What I need here is Brendan Dorman to be talking while I'm doing this and thinking. Because
leg kicks.
It's like what I can see both of them winning this fight. I can't see it.
Talking to the mic, yeah. What's your pick? Come on.
I don't know. I really don't know. It's very difficult. This is a complete coin flip for me. It really is. Like, I'm gonna go down the route of, like, Jeremy Stephens has fought the who's who in mixed martial arts. You know, fuck. I really don't know.
Pick.
I want to say Josh Emmet because he was on with us today and he was really nice.
Do that,
I know,
and yeah, me picking against Josh Emmett is not me saying he's a bad fighter. This is me saying I just think will edge it.
I think it's just too early for him against Jeremy Stephens. I think veteran's going to play into this. Savvy's going to play into it. I just think he has just so much more experience.
He's got a lot better, Jeremy Stephens. He's got his leg kicks have looked a lot better. His elbows, he's landed some really nice elbows in the pocket. Josh Emmett is looking phenomenal. And if he wins this, that's a huge win. Absolutely huge win.
It's just at the same time, I think experience, and then you think the opportunity, and he's grasped. He's got a full camp. He took that opportunity against Ricardo Lamas with both hands, and he's now getting a full camp at Jeremy Stephens. He's going to be studying him. They're very similar.
I'm sure there's been people in the alpha male camp that has fought Jeremy Stephens. I'm sure. I can't think of someone off the top of my head, but I'm sure.
I'm undecided.
Well, just make your pick. Deafening silence.
I really don't know.
Come on. You pick Jeremy.
If you gave me your money, I wouldn't back this fight. You know? Honest to God.
Make your pick. Come on.
I find it that difficult.
Picks don't matter that whole lot.
No, they don't. I'm going to go with new blood. I'm going to go with Josh Emmett.
Nice.
And the reason I'm going to go with Josh Emmett is because I've picked against Jeremy Stephens before, and I got it right.
Yeah.
It was Max Holloway, it wasn't hard. But
I was at that fight.
I like Jeremy Stephens, and like, I just think, you know,
Jesus,
I don't know, he just falls. Yeah, I know, I really am. Oh, I've said I'm picking Josh Emmett. I'm picking Josh Emmett.
Make your pick in the comments below, because this is a really tough one for Noel. It's a tough one for me as well. I just,
I've said Emmett.
Just say how it is.
I'm going with Emmett, but I just think it's an incredible fight. Man. And I just think a full camp with this opportunity, I just think Josh Emmett grabbed it with both hands against Ricardo Lamas.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to grab it with both hands and feet this one. But go on, I'll go Josh Emmett.
Nice.
No crazy science behind why. That's my pick. Let's do an undercard fight though.
What's your under the radar pick? This is what we do sometimes. Sometimes when we don't do the whole card, which we don't do all the time, we'll look at a fight in the undercard that's flying a little bit under the radar, but you should definitely watch it because it should be great.
Alan Jouban against Ben Saunders. I think this is a fun fight.
Nice fight.
Ben Saunders is all kinds of madness in there as well. Still, is he the only winner still with an omoplata in UFC? Ben Saunders?
One of them.
And against, of course, the gorgeous Alan Jouban. I just think this is a fun fight. And again, it's the whole on Fox, let's put on fun fights. I know it's not on Fox, it's going to be on Fight Pass or whatever. But Killer B, Ben Saunders always comes to fight. Always an interesting, crazy fights. And he can win from anywhere. And Alan Jouban, I think is a very untapped in some way. A lot of people underestimate him. He sort of goes, he has losses to Gunny recently, Nico Price, but for me, this is a standout. I think I know what you're going to pick, but you only have to look. Jouban, recent wins over Mike Perry and remember that name, Belhel Mohammed. So he's got good recent wins, but unfortunately, he's on a 2-fight loss streak. But we'll see. That's my under radar.
My pick, I'm going to go with something a little bit different. I know what you think. Kenan Barrow, Brian Kelleher.
That's what I was thinking.
Initially I was looking at that, and that is a great fight. I just think that Henan Barrow has just declined a lot as a fighter lately, and
crazy.
Although he's still exciting to watch at times, I just don't think he's at that level where you should be really keeping an eye on him. The fight I'm actually really looking forward to on the card is it is Gilbert Burns versus Olivier Aubin-Mercier. Aubin-Mercier is not the most exciting fighter in the world, but he's a good grappler, and when he can get his game going, it's really good. Gilbert Burns, pretty exciting, but also a great grappler. So I think if this hits the floor, could be very, very interesting. And I'm hoping it doesn't turn into a kickboxing match. I hope it hits the floor at some point, and we get some grappling. It could be a good fight.
So, fights this Saturday night in Orlando, Florida. I was very undecided in my main event.
Yeah.
I
think about 6 minutes to get to that pick. I understand it. I
think there's a lot of fights in this that are very evenly matched. It's actually a very evenly matched.
We could go 0-4 or 4 now.